It's the Secret Lost Diary of Richard E. Byrd, and it talks about like this. He traveled to the pole, the South Pole, and I guess one in like there was an opening, and there was like this beautiful utopia there, and he was like greeted by these UFOs with swastikas on them, and they like met up with him, and like they spoke to him without even speaking to him, like through telepathy, and basically told him that like the United States was toiling with nuclear warfare, and that this was not something that for them to do, and this would basically end the human race and the world as we know it, and that like they did not want to, they wanted to remain anonymous, but they had to like basically get involved once that happened, and I almost believe that they like allowed certain UFOs to be shot down or crashed so that the United States would steal this technology, back engineer it, and like eventually become to think that they're God, and then like basically this could be hacked or used, but like there's like a map of the hollow earth supposedly, and like there's different portals in here, and like the mountains actually go from like the bottom of the earth up. They're like huge mountains, like everything works totally different in there. I don't necessarily believe this or know this, but like the book's a really interesting read. He actually, when he got back to the Pentagon with this information, they tried to kookify him and make him believe that he was crazy, and like they realized that they couldn't do it because he was an admiral, and he like was completely of a sound mind, and everything he said was like dead. He was dead serious. And I spoke to the guy at the Anti-Nuclear Proliferation peace tent. Basically, they're like, you can believe this or not believe this, but I can tell you that there are aliens among the human race. Like maybe like the aliens or God or angels basically spread their seed to maybe countries like Russia and China to basically allow them to like develop weaponry and technology that would like basically thwart any type of attempts to destroy the earth, or like for people to basically try to think that they're God and can overstep nature's boundaries, and you get what I'm saying. Defeat evil agendas, I guess sums it up. But like I believe in game theory that Russia and China and Iran would be able to last like hundreds of years longer than the United States. Once you have like two to three generations born underground that have never seen light, it changes the dynamics of everything. Anybody who would go underground that would be say 45, 50, 60 years old would know that in their lifetime they're not coming up above ground. It's like that changes everything right there. And like you wouldn't have people that knew like hunting, fishing, survival skills to be able to teach the youth. Everybody would be like so weak, and it would just end everything. It wouldn't be good. So like real quick here, like I almost believe, like I said, that we need to revolt against like the evil forces that we know are the ones behind this. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not being incendiary or starting a riot or anything. Obey the laws, be very civil to your neighbor, be very civil to everyone, and that's what needs to happen. And a dignified way, for humanity to, I guess, attempt to heal itself after this. Okay, so like I have numerous presentations. I've talked about the placebo effect, even just like having something in a specific location, a flag or whatever, can help you. I'm not going to get into that. Please watch my presentation on the placebo effect. Just a certain picture even, or something that just gives you hope. Iodine, I told you before, that's like the only thing that really like will replace the radioactive iodine in your thyroid gland and detox your body. Old wine, like eventually you're just gonna have to, like, unless you're very lucky and have a huge hoard of old wine, you're probably better off not going that route and staying away from alcohol. I really believe alcohol is not good. The alcohol is gonna like basically irritate the cilia and the already compromised basically tissue in your esophagus and your lungs, and it's a carcinogen, and it could make you make bad decisions at a time where you need to have a mentally sound mind. We need everybody to have a sound mind. Being in the mountains, in like high elevation, I'm not talking about like a couple thousand feet. I'm talking like very high mountains, like probably in America, like Salt Lake City, Colorado, Idaho. This is probably where all the bunkers are, and a few other places as well. But like it probably is like above at least a little bit of the threshold. But then again, the air is thinner, and it opens up your lungs. So like if you were skiing or something else, it probably like could make you really sick. It could go both ways, I guess you could say. Meditation, metaphysical, Dianetic healing, just like attempting to slow down your whole metabolic function, your heart rate, and everything. Right now, if you're hearing this for the first time, you're probably going crazy. You're probably like, oh my God, I feel what he's saying. I see, I believe it. 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. I've done many presentations on this in the past. Like, I'm not going to say anything else about it. Watch my other presentations. Very, very serious stuff. It must be diluted. Like I said, I'm not a medical doctor. Please consult a medical physician before making any medical related decisions. Do not attempt to sue me or anything of such for any of my advice that I'm giving you or options. Like I said, this is for entertainment purposes only. Meat is probably very bad. It probably has meat and milk. The cows bioaccumulate massive amounts of radiation in their in their tissue. You might as well just accept, like, the food's already poisoned, a lot of the consumer food. You might as well just already accept the fact that you're going to be eating radiated food and probably water. And, like, just try to find a way to adapt your body and get used to it now. And, like, green tea, high concentration green tea detoxification, high concentration. Like, I have a separate presentation on this. Oregano tea, if you start to have any issues with your sore throat or anything, or like your upper respiratory, I found very great value in the green tea, in the high concentration, or in oregano tea. Like, I know it sounds disgusting, but just try it. Like 2 hours after you drink it, you notice a difference. It actually tastes good cold too, but breathing it in, like the inhalation, actually seems to work as well. Having kids right now, probably not the time to be thinking about starting a family. The near-death phenomenon is a really big one as well. Like a certain International Association of Near-Death Studies. Please, look this up, and just understand the ability of the mind to separate itself from the body, just detoxifying, and not eating a lot of extra stuff, and just like keeping your weight down and not having a lot of fat on you where everything can accumulate. Like I said, I decided to not drink or smoke or anything right now. I think it's like you need to have a mentally strong, just I guess aura, whatever you want us to call it. Many elites underground are probably very bitter. I'm going to stop right now. It's probably going to cut off here soon as I'm trying to go through these last points. But the elites many of the rich people, the military, are probably already underground. The way the tiered structure worked is lesser people work their way up the chain of command. The higher people are already underground, and they're not going to come up probably the rest of their life, and they know this. And eventually they're going to run out of foot soldiers to be cops, to be firemen, to do everything else. And it's we're going to humanity is going to have to take control back into our own hands. And the atmosphere has such a high like I said, it's a high concentration of this, they can't leave. Like I said, they're trapped. And when you get into this type of scenario, understand, if you were underground, how susceptible you are to mind control. Any little thing of hope you cling to. This is why they have sex clones. That's all they really have is their sex clones. And I guarantee you that would lose its luster, after a while. And you probably high susceptibility to mental issues and fighting. And just, once you're there, you probably can't leave, and you start to feel trapped. Especially if you thought that, somebody like me was breaking out this truth to people, and that maybe the Russians and Chinese were going to come and take them. It would probably scare the living hell out of these people. And, hopefully that's what happens, is that we hunt these people down and kill them, or they eventually decide to kill themselves. Many of these bunkers were poorly designed. Understand that radioactive plutonium, uranium are, some of the heaviest on the periodic table, and will eventually sink. Unless you have, numerous buffer zones and decontamination zones, or a multi-tiered bunker system, that's what's going to happen. That's what they have. They have 3 or 4, the more advanced ones from my remote viewing abilities have 3 and 4 levels. On the second and third level, they have recycling facilities that the first ones drop down into. They have a military command transportation center, where a hub that goes the entire eastern seaboard all the way out to the Midwest, underground highways. Every train station or train tracks basically has bunkers, under right underneath the train tracks. Also the pipelines where they cross the train tracks, and other places as well. It's not even a secret. The Russians knew this in the 1960s. And the rich elites, I don't know, it's probably the United States Air Force and the rich elites and other people that are all embedded in this together. And eventually you're not going to see them anymore. But now 1 day above ground is probably worth 20 below ground. Like this, like, you know, that's one thing to cling to for hope, is to know that these people don't have that beautiful. They don't get to see God's beautiful earth anymore. You know, they're stuck, they're trapped, they're enslaved, they're in hell. And as their life goes on, this is going to quantify. One day will become 50 days. Like 5 years from now, it'll become 100 days. Because as their life winds down and you're still out here, like I said, it's going to quantify. And it's just going to like that's my opinion how it'll work. I guess you could look at it both ways. But like there is a God, there is a heaven. You know, like live your life to the fullest. Live without fear. Respect few, fear none, as the Mongols would say. As time goes on, like I said, this is going to, you know, exponentially quantify, and the people, like I said, underground are going to realize they're trapped and have no way out. You know, live with freedom, 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 like a bird of prey soaring through the open air, like hunting in a beautiful sky without limits or boundaries. And you know, like certain people actually have the ability to control the ionosphere. I'm actually one of them. I have numerous. If you don't believe me, send me a message, and I'll send you hundreds and thousands of cloud formations and like other things that I could prove to you. And this is like, just search it online. People have the ability to control the ionosphere. So it really would behoove these people to like make these people happy. And they haven't made me happy. They pissed me the F off. And like, you know, there's certain angels and healers that actually have the ability to do amazing, miraculous things. And they need to get these people together and like get a game plan. But they're not doing that. They're greedy, evil thugs that have been screwing everybody for years. And some evil Zionist Jews, some other evil people. And like the world's sick of it. The world knows who they are. And thank God that somebody stood up and did something. And I mentioned my beliefs, you know, are not structured to any one religion. We have one God, whoever he or she is. He or she has many names. The Bible is a good book, but it's like Thanksgiving without. It's like Thanksgiving dinner without the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, and the most important part, the gravy. You know, China is almost like the gravy, genetically ingrained in the existence of many other cultures and races, and like it's the truth. And like, you know, we are not told the truth. Eastern medicine is like hands a million times more advanced than the BS that they teach in the highest level medical schools today. Like, absolutely embarrasses me to be part of this country. Like, Eastern medicine is so deeply suppressed, and magnetism, other things as well. Eventually they're going to try to push a microchip, or like I said, one currency. But like I said, but that being said, I do believe we are in the stages of prophecy. Like, I do believe that much of this is prophetic. There's other modern day prophets. You know, Muhammad was not the only prophet. You know, like Nostradamus talked about death rays. There's other advanced weaponry that hasn't been unleashed yet. And like, once they start taking out satellites, it'll be over. And like the mail will stop being delivered first off. Then like that'll shut down the financial system. The gas will stop being delivered. And within like 3 days, you'll see complete pandemonium. People will willingly go to FEMA camps. Like, they've done studies on this, and within like 7 to 14 days, people will resort to cannibalism. But like, people underground, after like 4 days of not seeing daylight, you start to go crazy. So I guess have your choice, even if you had the ability to go underground. You know, I'd rather fight above ground and suffer the consequences later. But Philippians 4:13, amazing verse. I can do all things in Christ who strengthened me, or Christ who gives me strength, depending on what version you read. Great thing, great book, you know, find hope in. And like, if you're, you know, in need of spiritual help, you know, maybe turn to the Bible. But like, we're right in the 7 seals, we're right in Revelation, the 4 horsemen, the apocalypse. We're right there. And like, this has been going on for a while now. I have another prayer. Glory and praise to Allah our King. Be with me on my darkest day. Always guide me along my way. Through triumphs and troubles, through misfortune and newfound love. Someday your fiery power will bring peace on the wings of a dove. I'm very sorry to bring this information to you raw folks, but I'm here to fight until the very end. Stand for our First Amendment, stand for our Second Amendment, the Bill of Rights, and freedom for all of humanity.